This works.
Hey, look at
Oh,
that.
hello. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you great.
Awesome.
Loud and clear. I was just thinking about this. I don't know that you and I have ever actually officially met.
No, I don't think so either. I was thinking about that today too, because I was like gonna address you. I was like, oh, it's nice to finally meet you, even if it has to be over the phone.
Yeah, I feel like I know you. We've been social media acquainted. I've been a fan of your photos that you share on Instagram for a long time. Caitlin and I even had drinks with some mutual friends after a show last year.
Yeah,
But I
yeah, I
think
heard
you were
about
out of
that.
town shooting something else. So
Yeah, I think I had to shoot a show up in New York that night, and I was supposed to be there, but I unfortunately had to miss it.
social media just makes the world so small.
It does. I mean, it's really nice because this little music community that we've been able to form over social media has definitely helped this whole quarantine situation.
For sure. If it had to happen, I'm glad it happened now when we have these
Exactly.
ways to connect. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you start us off by telling us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
Yeah. So I am a restaurant slave by day and a concert photographer by night. I'm based out of Philadelphia, but I shoot all across the East Coast. And typically around this point in time, I'd be on the festival circuit. So I'd be all across the country shooting shows and working with brands on their like live music kind of activations and everything as well. But yeah, it's what I do right now is I'm currently dually unemployed, but it's been a nice break from the chaos that is the live music scene and the restaurant scene.
Yeah. I pulled this out to share this
The Glorietta
that
print.
I am fortunate to own.
I'm so happy you got that. That's awesome.
Yeah, Glorietta in 2018 at Newport. And I also pulled out this. You're getting this in the mail. It was like a little care package with all these wonderful little presents tucked in. But I love this business card with Charles Bradley on it.
Yeah, that was from his first ever show at the Apollo. That's like one of my favorite photos I've ever taken.
It's gorgeous.
I've actually his performance at Newport. Were you ever there for that? I think it was 2012, maybe.
I was there, but I didn't see his set.
Oh yeah, his set was incredible. I fell in love with him the first second I saw him there. And he just released his first record, and he finished up his set. It was like a Sunday afternoon. He came off stage and he gave everyone in the front row hugs. It's such a beautiful moment. And then he came to the Apollo shortly after that, and it was his first time ever playing there. And he told the story about how he used to sneak in when he was a kid to see James Brown perform.
Wow.
But yeah, he was an amazing guy. But that Glorietta print was also one of my favorite photos too.
Yeah.
Getting all those guys together to take that photo is one of the most chaotic moments, but I'm so glad it happened.
I'll bet those guys were like a walking party.
Yeah.
When they were together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my favorite album that year. That was my favorite set at Newport that year. I mean, I love them so much. So I'm really glad to have that portrait.
I'm glad.
So tell me, with all this being dually unemployed, how are you passing the time now?
I've been trying to be as constructive and as busy as possible. I've been working a lot, doing Skillshare classes to learn some new photo editing techniques, and dabbling my hands into video editing as well. And I've been cooking up a storm every day. It's been kind of like I've gone on a schedule of making bread and all these other little projects just to pass the time and make it seem like it's not like I think we briefly chatted yesterday, and I thought yesterday was Sunday because like all these days just blend together.
I thought maybe that's what happened when I got your message.
Yeah, I have no concept of what day it is, but I mean, at least, trying to keep busy in the senses of honing in on my craft and trying to be as constructive as possible is definitely helped.
Good. And are you getting to listen to much music while you do that?
Yeah, totally. I've been deep diving on a lot of old stuff, listening to stuff like I've been trying to listen to a lot of like live records because I find that it's the closest experience I'm going to get. So like Wilco's old record, I don't know if you ever heard of it, Kicking Television. That one's one of my favorites to listen to. Sylvan Esso just released a live record that's really great. His Gold Messenger released one a few weeks ago, which is really good.
Yeah,
a
and
couple
that one's
weeks.
benefiting public schools in Durham or Raleigh or somewhere
Yeah,
where they are, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, just listening to as much music as I can, and just trying to stay sane in that sense of finding some substitution for the number of shows that I would be normally going to.
I like the idea of listening to live recordings like that. Have you also been listening to any of the live streams that are going on?
I started listening to a lot the first few weeks. I was trying to actually keep a calendar of it just to try to keep track. And after the first few weeks, I kind of noticed that it wasn't the same experience in a lot of ways. And also it was slightly repetitive because like, I feel like it put a lot of the artists in a weird position where they didn't really know which way to go with it. The ones that I've continued to listen to a lot lately though are like Jeff Tweedy's Family. I don't know if have you been watching the Tweedy Show?
Yeah, him and his
Um,
son.
it's great. Like that's one of the ones where it's like they're doing mostly covers. You kind of get this like weird glimpse into their lives. Like I've heard people compare it to almost like the Osbourne Show back in the day. Um, I've been listening to Ben Gibbard's a lot as well. I think he's been doing a really good job with them. Amanda Shire and Jason Isbell have been fun too. But it's hard because I mean they are live, so like if you miss them, a lot of times they're not around afterwards, and it just doesn't fit in with my schedule a lot of times. But I try to listen to them as much as possible, just in some way to support the bands. Oh, Loka Connie, they do a really good one as well.
Oh my gosh.
They're
Yeah,
just so
and
much
he's
fun.
such a lunatic. I've been having so much fun whenever I tune into those. And he's been managing to find ways to make it a little bit different each time and
Right.
pulling in timely topical stuff with the covers. And
yeah, and he's been releasing a couple new singles as well that have kind of coincided with it, which has been really cool.
yeah,
But yeah, he all the theatrics are still there with his performances, which is great.
he's such a trip. That's who he is all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, we've hosted him here in York a number of times, and I've hosted him twice.
Mhm.
And he's just that persona is him all the time.
And he's such a dedicated performer, and that's Adam, because they are based here in Philly. I've been fortunate enough to see him a couple times as well, and I shot their New Year's Eve show a couple of years back as well, which is really cool because it was one of the last shows at the Trocadero. I don't know if you've ever been to that theater here in Philly.
Yeah.
But and he the way that he goes about his performances and also his attention to detail with his performances, like you think that all those like leg kicks and theatrics are just spur of the moment, but he really puts a lot of time into kind of crafting those for all the songs that they perform, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a true artist.
Yeah.
And I love that we're getting those regular glimpses into his music room or whatever it is that he's in to send those out into the world. What else are you doing? So you're doing Skillshare classes, you're working on your own craft, you're listening to music, anything else that you're, and cooking, podcasts, reading, anything like that you're into?
Yeah, I've always been really into podcasts. All Songs Considered and Song Exploder are two of my favorite music podcasts. I don't know if you ever listened to Song Exploder, but it's a really good way for someone that doesn't. So it was hosted last year by Tao from Town to Get Down, Stay Down.
Okay.
And then the years prior to that, it's been hosted by this guy, Risha Kesh. He's a really fascinating guy because he's like a sound engineer, and he breaks down how these songs are made with the artist in a way that's more of a storytelling format than like a musical format. So someone that doesn't really create music but still is a creative, it really allows you to kind of get a glimpse into their process in a way that's accessible.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. I think you would really like it. There's a lot of Newport artists that have done it in the past, and it's really cool to kind of see how different everyone's process is. And then All Songs Considered has always been a favorite of mine over the years. Their John Prine tribute that they did a couple weeks ago brought me to tears. Just to hear, like, Bob Boilen has a way of breaking down musical history that I don't think anyone else can do in the way that he does.
I love Bob Boilen.
He's such a trip. Getting to see him every year at Newport is always a cool thing because you can kind of have those musical discussions on a one-on-one personal level that is just it makes that whole experience so much more important.
Yeah, I flagged him down once the year his book came out. I think I talked about this a couple of weeks ago on these Sunday chats, but I had his book with me because I knew he's so ubiquitous. I knew I would run into him, and I did. And he looked at it and was like, why do you have this with you right now here?
Yeah.
And I said, so that you can sign it. So he signed it for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That book was amazing too. I mean, I remember the story about St. Vincent talking about Tuck and Patty and how she went on the road with them as a kid, and because they're related. And it was really cool to kind of then see them at Newport that same year and their interactions together backstage, and how you got to see a side of St. Vincent that you never got to see before.
That's
during
cool.
that set.
I did see that Tuck and Patty set, and it was mainly one of those things where they were the first act of the day, whatever day they were there.
Yeah.
And I had gotten there to be in the front row for somebody who was playing a little bit later in the day.
Yeah.
And you know that everything you see at Newport is going to be the best thing you ever saw.
Yeah.
So I got that seat for somebody later in the day and got to see them as sort of an incidental benefit. And they were amazing. It was the perfect way to start the day. It was really beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
really lovely.
They're a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. They've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, the Road Warriors. I mean, they've been around for a very long time.
Yeah. What are you most looking forward to doing when all of these restrictions go away and we can get back to whatever normal is going to look like in the future?
Yeah, just probably going to shows, going to concerts, seeing friends, and at shows again. It's very weird. I think this has definitely been the longest it's ever been since I've been at a live music event in my adult life. And it's been really nice in the sense that you kind of get that time to recharge and reset, but at the same time, I'm like ready to go right back out. And I don't know when that's going to be, but I'll definitely be at the first concert available. I don't even care what kind of music it is at this point.
Same here. Yeah, this is a long time. Last night, I hosted a Zoom call for season ticket holders for the concert series that I run. Mm-hmm. And we started talking about what we've been listening to. And somebody said, what was the last show that you got to go to? And I had to think about it. And it's been more than 6 weeks. I've been at home for more than 6 weeks. So it's been more like 7 weeks probably. And that's definitely the longest I've ever gone. And I don't like it at all.
No. I think the last concert I went to...
I was just going to say there's calendar reminders that keep popping up telling me I'm supposed to be at all these shows.
Oh, I know. April was supposed to be like the busiest month I've ever had. I think there was 1 week where it was like Amanda Shire, The Lone Bellow, Lucas Nelson, Delta Spirit, and Katie Pruitt. Oh, I know. That hurts more than anything because you've been waiting for that forever, and they finally are going to. They announced a new tour, and all this chaos embarks on us. But yeah, it's this was supposed to be like one of the craziest music months, and then it broke right into going into the festival season, and now I'm just like I kind of like prepared myself to take a breather in February and early March, and now I'm like that just carried right over into this month. So I've been like gearing up to go back out.
I see that Judd Johnson just came on the chat here, and I wanted to tell him that I had held this photo up. This is him.
Oh, nice.
So 2 different photos of him have made it into these Sunday chats now. So I'm wondering if maybe I should just schedule one of these chats with Judd at some point so we can talk about why I have a bunch of photos of him in my house when I don't even really know him. Anyway, so you were going to say, what was the last show that you did attend? Do you remember? I think it was
the show that I was going to New York for that I missed meeting you. It was, they Might Be Giants were doing a reunion show or an anniversary show up in New York that I got asked to photograph. So I was up there doing that. But that was like February 22nd, I think. So it's been a while, like 2 months, I guess. Yeah.
Man.
But yeah.
Well, let's see. To wrap things up, can you tell us where we can find more info about you and your work, how we can best support you right now, anything you want people to know? Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. I have prints available for sale up on my website, thatnoise.net. There's a bunch of prints from past years at Newport Folk and past years of different tours for some of my favorite musicians. I just secured a new printer. The person that was printing my prints before, unfortunately, had to close due to COVID-19. So I just found a new person I'm sourcing my prints out to. So anytime you buy a print, not only are you supporting me, you're also supporting a local small business. But more importantly, supporting the artists that I get to photograph so they can keep touring and making music. So, I mean, Music Cares is an amazing organization. And then the Newport Folk Festival Foundation, they're helping out a lot of musicians as well. So you should definitely check those out as well.
Those are both great suggestions. And I can't recommend purchasing prints from you highly enough, because like I said, that was like a wonderful care package. These were in there too.
Yeah,
yeah,
totally. I try to, if I know you, or if you mention someone else that you're interested in, I always try to throw in a couple little extra things that I have lying around the studio to kind of make the whole experience more than just one photo.
It's amazing. It was like Christmas getting that package in the mail.
I'm glad. I'm really glad
to
hear that.
Anybody who's watching, I'm doing this every Sunday until we're allowed to leave our houses again. I already have some people scheduled for next Sunday, so just watch my Instagram page for the schedule. Eric, thanks for taking the time to talk to me a little bit.
No worries. Thank you for having me. This is great.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I hope to see you soon.
Yeah, I'll see you at an actual show soon.
Good.
Yeah.
Take care.
See you later.